Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my first ever live stream for OrcaTorch. My name is Gus. I'm an OrcaTorch brand ambassador, and I appreciate the opportunity to come here and talk to you guys about technical diving and the lights that I use for technical diving because they're kind of different than the ones that I get to hear about on these live streams, especially when it comes to hearing from people who are amazing photographers like Baron, who likes to host these live streams, and he likes to talk about the lights are used for taking pictures. Of course, OrcaTorch has right now the contest for photographers as well, so they have amazing lights when it comes to photography and cinematography and video as well. But where I come from, or at least my background, is not about photography. I am a technical diver. I am an instructor as well for open water and for some technical courses, but they're all open circuit. But what I really enjoy doing is diving rebreathers. I dive kiss rebreathers and also diving in caves, diving overhead environments, wreck penetration, that kind of thing. Really, really like that. Diving very deep as well. I am a trimix diver. So anything that has to do, especially if it's a combination of all of them, something like a very deep cave or a very deep wreck or something like that, I'm all over that. I love that stuff. I'm also the co-host of Dive Talk. If you're not familiar with our channel, it's divetalk.com. So if you just go to the browser and go to divetalk.com, you can find us there. We like to talk about, obviously, diving, all kinds of diving, and also react to some dive videos. Once in a while, react to movies. And we'd really like to talk about, like I said, scuba diving and from our perspective. So what I wanted to do today is answer your questions if you have any, since this is a live stream. I don't have quite the setup like you've seen on the previous live streams from OrcaTorch in the past, where they have these amazing setup, and it seems like Baron has like a whole team of people, multiple cameras, and all this really cool stuff. And obviously, we have the team at OrcaTorch behind the scenes as well, helping me out. But I wanted to really take an opportunity and talk to you about the lights that I personally use for technical diving, and also the why I decided to go with those, because there are multiple options. There are several options when it comes to these dives or these lights, and I wanted to talk about why I decided to go with that particular one, and also why in that shape. There's handhelds, there's a bunch of different kind of grips and configurations, and I want to talk about all of those. Let me just open right here the live chat just to see as comments come in. I see, hey Gus, hello from Washington, D.C., what's up? Hello from Michigan, from Oklahoma. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, as I mentioned before. All right, so let's talk about technical diving. So first, when it comes to technical diving, the way I like to explain it is really simple. Technical diving is diving beyond the limits of recreational dives. That's basically it. So when you're doing a recreational dive, typically you are following no decompression limits, which depending on your depth, they vary, right? Depending on how deep you are, how much time you can spend at that depth will change. So if all you're doing is recreational dives, then most lights from OrcaTorch will work perfect for you. Even the less power, less expensive versions of the lights, like the first light I ever bought when I became an open water dive, which is a D520, this light right here, will be excellent for you. It will be perfect. This was the first light I bought back in the day, a few years ago. I think they were kind of new in the market. OrcaTorch didn't really have a whole lot of, options. And since I was a recreational diver, I went with an OrcaTorch D520. What I like about this light is that it's simple. Just like the dives that I was doing back in the day, this is really simple. You twist on and it goes on, you twist off and it goes off. I mean, it's just that simple. And one of the things that I really liked about that after I analyzed the lights from, some of my dive buddies and whatnot, is that the OrcaTorch, all the lights that I've seen from OrcaTorch come with triple O-rings, which means that it's really, really hard to flood one of these lights. Like for me, for example, typically when I travel with them, because I want to make sure that the battery is not going to get activated by mistake or whatever, I'm just removing the head so you can see the triple O-ring and see if I can get the camera to focus, get close to you. It doesn't want to focus. Oh, there it is. All right, triple O-rings. I've dove with this thing where I just go like past the first O-ring. I just leave it like that because I know that I'm going to have to charge it or whatever. And I forgot. And because this nowadays stays in my pocket, I've done full dives with just one of the O-rings in, and it doesn't flood. It's perfect. I have no idea how they do it. I don't know what kind of material that first O-ring is, but it's awesome. And obviously, if you go all three of them, which is the way you're supposed to do it, then this thing is bulletproof. I love it. You twist it, it goes on. You twist it, it goes off. It's super simple. Don't have to fumble. And I know that some of my friends have these lights where you have this switch. Like if you go forward, then the light is spot, and back it's more open, and then double tap for it. Like, it's why? Like if I need a light really quick, I need to see something, just twist it and go. Like it's super simple. So that's why this was my first light. Let me check the chat right here and see if you have any questions. Right here, somebody says, I like the twist dive torches. Remember to add silicone grease once in a while. That's right. Joseph says, hi, Gus. Hey, Joseph, what's up? How about cleaning the harbor in Lake Superior? Like, what should I use for that? Okay. And then Jake is saying, help me decide between the 700 and the 710. I think that's an easy decision, but I'm kind of biased because I have one of them. And I could have any of them, and I pick one of the two, and I'll tell you why. But anyway, that is the D520. So this was my first light. It's worked forever. I've had several other brands, especially the cheapo ones that you buy on Amazon. When I started diving, I just wanted, just give me the maximum lumens for, less than $50. And every one of those lights that I bought to be, my main light, just to leave this one as a backup light, just in case, I ended up having to pull out my backup light in some dives when they flooded or broke or whatever. None of that stuff works. And this thing has worked forever. I love that. Now, before I move on with some of the other lights and how I use them, I just want to remind everyone watching this live stream that we will be giving away a D710 OrcaTorch brand new light. All right. One of these is going to go to a lucky winner that is watching this live stream. So if you make comments, if you post questions that I can answer, you will be entering a drawing at a later time. OrcaTorch is the one actually giving away the light, not mine. This is mine, so forget it. But they'll be picking a winner, and they'll be contacting you and sending you the light. They are awesome. Once again, I've tried a bunch of different brands. Somebody's asking about other brands. When I became a cave diver last year, I started looking for a cave diving torch. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to diving in caves, most of the communication that you have in a cave is with your light, to check if people are okay, to let people know you have a problem, to signal that a tie-off in a jump line has been done correctly. I mean, on and on and on, we use the light to signal for things. And the light that I had was kind of a wide angle. Even the D520, the beam angle on this guy is actually 12 degrees. So it's a little bit, wide for signals. When you're doing signals in a cave, you want that thing to be super tight. You want it to be like a laser, right? That I can put on a wall and really, really well I can say, okay, or I have a problem or whatever. Right. So I started looking for another light. I started looking at other brands, and a lot of the lights out there that are for cave diving are super expensive, like super, super expensive. So, and the other thing is, as I started looking at these other lights, they come with a bunch of different options. Like, you have to pick, like what's the size of the battery or what kind of features you want, like something as simple as picking where the cable is coming from. So let me grab this guy right here. All right, this is my D630. This is my cave diving light. Even where the cable is coming from, you can see in this case the cable is coming from the side, right? You have to, ahead of time, without ever using this light, without really understanding maybe how it fits in your kit, you have to decide if you want it to come in a 90-degree angle like that, or if you want it to come in a straight angle or 180-degree angle. You have to pick what you want, and you can change it. And as soon as I saw this OrcaTorch, and I saw that you can just simply, boop, convert it from 90 to 180, I was like, that thing is amazing, right? The fact that you can have it set up however you want, and the fact that I can be diving on the rebreather and have it sitting straight because it's sitting on the rebreather stand, or that I can have it, sitting somewhere else and go at a 90-degree because I'm doing open circuit or whatever. I'm doing a side mount rebreather, depending on how I want it. I can always mount that thing anywhere and change, how the cable or the wires coming out of the canister however I want, whenever I need it, which is awesome. So I look at that. And then I looked at, well, there must be a catch, right? So what is it that I need with this one? So I looked at the angle. The beam angle on this light is 6 degrees. Super, super tiny. Most cave lights come from 8 degrees and so on. This one is super tight. I then looked at, well, then maybe because the cost is a third or less of these other comparable lights, then there might be a catch on how long I can use this light for. Well, when it comes to rebreather diving, which is what I do in caves, typically your rebreather will have it will have a length, a runtime. How long can you do a dive for based on the amount of sorp that you carry on your rebreather? I happen to have a 5-pound rebreather, which gives me about 5 to 6 hours of runtime. So I needed a light that can last me 5 to 6 hours of runtime on the rebreather. So when I look at this guy, he went for exactly what I needed. So I actually pulled some specs. And before I read the specs, let me go back to Facebook and see if anyone has any questions. What model is best for inland, dark water? Okay, so they're talking about the D630. People love that it's convertible. Somebody asked how many lumen. I'll talk about that in a second. Ever tried, some other brands? Once again, yes, I've tried all of these brands. I dive with friends that have the most expensive, lights out there that I consider buying again at some point. And, after I saw the D630, I'm like sold out, and I'm converting some of my friends when they see it. It's like, wow, this is really, really awesome. So D630, 5 hours runtime on 4,000 lumen. So somebody asked, how bright are they? 4,000 lumen, right? Which is, once again, the territory of those $2,000 lights for cave diving or for technical diving. If you step it one level below to 1,500 lumen, you have 7.5 hours of runtime. 1,500 lumen, it's still a lot. Like if you compare it with some of the lights out there, and especially if you're diving in caves like me, which is pitch black, right? 1,500 lumen is a lot, 7.5 hours. And then if you go down into the next level, is 24 hours almost. I think it's 23 hours and 52 minutes or something like that at 460 lumen. So really, really awesome. The battery lasts a bunch. It's super, super long, which I really love. So you charge it overnight. Next day, you can do a 5-hour long dive. This thing, it's going to perform for the whole time. Let me see if you have any other questions here. Somebody saying, did you test that spec? No. My longest dive has been about 3.5 hours, and the light worked the whole time. So, and I don't know if you can see this, but even on the on these lights, triple O-rings. I don't think you can see it even if I get close to it. But triple O-rings. But here is the magic of it, is this amazing battery right here. This battery pack. Now, what do I like about this thing? Is like, I feel like, OrcaTorch sat a bunch of like tech divers or cave divers like me in a room, and they were like, okay, let's talk about cave diving lights. What are the things that if you could design the perfect light, what are the things that you would put in it? And then they took that list, and instead of saying, well, let's do these but not those, they did all of them, right? All of the things that they came up with on that brainstorming session, they added to this light. So you can see it has a battery indicator on top of it. It has a charger on it as well. And it has a USB connector. I don't know if you can see that. It has a USB connector in it. So you can actually use this light to charge things like my Shearwater Nerd, which charges with an USB, or your phone or whatever. If you need some power, it actually works as a power bank. And the battery cannot be put into this canister the opposite way, which is yet another thing. Some lights, if you put the battery the wrong way, you burn the light, which is, I think, what happens to one of those Amazon special lights that I bought. Put the battery the opposite way, and there went $75. All right, let's see. Depth doesn't affect the light. I haven't seen any change on it. The deepest I've had my light is 248 feet, and it performed perfect. So, yep, 5 hours. Alfred is asking, do they sell a Goodman handle for the 710? I know that there's a section on the OrcaTorch website that sells accessories, and the Goodman handle is available there. I don't know if you can mount the D710 to it directly. You might have to. I know they have like a helmet mount, and they have some other mounts. Maybe you have to attach that to the Goodman handle, but you can buy the Goodman handle from their website for sure. Yep, so the battery is pretty awesome, and like I said, you screw it in, and you're good to go. The on April 24th, by the way, so about a month and 3 days ago, I recorded a video on how I set up my D630. You can see that I have my cave arrows and my cave cookies in there as well. Bungee cord, a double ender bolt snap that I used to snap the light into my rebreather or my BCD, whatever I'm diving. I showed how to do all of that, and it's on the OrcaTorch YouTube channel. So if you don't follow OrcaTorch on YouTube, go ahead and check it out, because all of us ambassadors are recording video and great content for OrcaTorch, and I like the technical stuff. I want to know, how do people dive with this stuff, how they use it, how they route the wire, all that stuff, and that's the video I recorded for them, is how do I set it up for cave diving. So if you want some ideas, go check that out. All right, let's see. Matt is running a CCR and looking for a good run time. Yep, D630, I mean, is a third or less of the price of a comparable light from another brand that doesn't have the same features. So it's actually a little inferior in terms of features. The mobility of the cable, I mean, I hope OrcaTorch patented that thing, because it's awesome. So for sure, check that out. Let's see if there are any other questions in here. All right, I don't see any other questions. Yep, 5-hour power in 4,000 lumen is insane. Hard to believe, but it works awesome. And like I said, I've had it to 3.5. I haven't had it all the way to 5, but 3.5 hours, and it was the same brightness the whole time. It was awesome. So when you're cave diving, the minimum amount of lights that we take on a cave dive is 3, right? So you already saw 2 of my lights. One is the D520, which I mentioned is the first light I have. This actually goes in a pocket, and I actually have 2 of these. So I actually take 4 lights in every cave dive. 2 of them are identical D520s. Well, one of them is black and this one is silver, but you get the point. They're D520s. And the other one is the D630. And actually my backup to the D630, my primary light, is the D710. I believe the D710, from all the brands out there, from every light that I've seen, and that includes the D630, this to me is the best pound for pound, I don't know how to call it, what's the better term to use for it, light on the market. For the money that this thing costs, it delivers insane specs and performance. It has a 6-degree beam angle. The D630 has a 7-degree beam angle, so it's even more pinpoint accuracy. It goes up to 3,000 lumen, so it's super bright. I mean, this thing is 6 inches. It's tiny, right? 3,000 lumen. for a minute. They call it turbo mode. And then it comes down to 1700 lumen, and it can stay at that for an hour and 40 minutes, which again, and they have this thing listed. If you look through the website, they have it listed on their recreational lights, because I guess this is mostly for recreational divers. At full power, we're talking about an hour and 40 minutes, or an hour and 41 if you count the turbo mode. An hour and 40 minutes. Who is diving on recreational mode, single tank open circuit, more than an hour and 40 minutes? I think that in order for you to do that, you have to be super shallow. And if you're diving during the day, you probably don't need a whole lot of power or light, to be honest. So for 99.9% of open water dives, the power in this light will be more than enough. If you go down to 800 lumen, it will last 3 hours and 40 minutes. At 400 lumen, it's 7 hours and 40 minutes. So the length of the battery is a 5,000 milliamp battery. I think inside this light is rechargeable. It's amazing. And it has a push button instead of rotation. You just press the button and it goes on, as you can see. Whoa. And then it has multiple levels, as I mentioned before. It has a battery indicator inside the little, button right there. It's not the brightest, but that's cool. I don't want the battery to burn in just a battery indicator, but it's cool that it has a battery indicator on it. The D630 also has the battery indicator. And one of the cool features about it is that a lot of people are concerned about leaving their batteries inside their light because they can activate it by mistake, just like that, by pressing the button. But if you hold the button down, you can actually shut down the actual button. Check this out. So I'm going to hold the button down. I'm going to wait until it blinks twice. There it is. It blinked twice. And now the button doesn't work. Watch. That's the button. I'm pressing it. Nothing happens. No accidental discharge with this guy. In order to use it, I actually have to hold the button until the light goes on, basically, telling me that, or until it blinks twice, telling me that it's back to working order. So I like the fact that I can lock the button so there's no accident, basically, when I'm traveling with it. Really like that functionality. Actually, to deactivate the button, you don't hold it down, you double click. Now that I remember. Yep, so it blinks twice, and then it's back working. You don't hold it down, you double click. The D630 also has a lockable button, but it twists. You can actually twist it to the lock position and on. So I like how they're thinking about all these things. That's why I'm so excited about diving OrcaTorch, because they think about all these things. Are like, well, people about the button, they complain that, well, when you have a button, you accidentally click on it, and, by the time you get to the dive site, your battery's gone. Well, how about we lock the button so you cannot accidentally hit it? It's awesome. Great stuff. All right, let's see. Jake is saying, can you confirm the run time on the 710 is 1 minute at 3,000 lumen, but then it goes for an hour and 40 at 1,700? I can't tell the difference. Watch. So I'm going to turn it on. That's full bright, right? So I'm going to leave it in my hand. I'm going to go turbo. Watch. Can you tell the difference? I went turbo right there. Back to 1,700. Oh, that was actually the middle one and then the low. So I'll do it again. Watch. That's high, 1,700. I'm about to go turbo. Watch my hand. Do you tell the difference? I can't tell the difference. Let's see. What else? How long have you been diving? What is your preference, shipwrecks or land and fish? Yes. I don't have a preference. I just like diving. And I would say diving rebreathers is way more prefer than diving open circuit. But if I don't have a choice, I'll dive open circuit if that is the only thing available. I prefer the button to twist. Of course, there's different ways to look at that. I think that some people are concerned that once you twist it a lot, those O-rings are going to break or whatever. The lights do ship with extra O-rings. I have never changed an O-ring in one of these lights. I don't abuse it either. Of course, this light, the one that twists, the D520, which, by the way, it's simple, right? You turn it on and it goes on 1,000 lumen, which is great, for 2 hours. That's pretty awesome. So even this, as your only light for a recreational dive, just to take it in and look like under corals and stuff like that, perfect. It will last you the whole dive, 2 hours, right? So this is my backup light. So I'm not constantly on and off, on and on, twisting and twisting and twisting. I can see how if I did that all the time, I would risk, damaging the O-rings. But I have never replaced an O-ring on any of my OrcaTorch lights. Maybe because the ones that twist I use as a backup, and they always work. All right. And then the button is great, obviously, because you just press the button and it goes. You don't have to twist anything or nothing slippery. I like that. The other thing, and the reason why I went with a button on the D710, and this might be Gus only applicable reason, is that when you do cave dive training, full cave diving training, one of the exercises that you do is that your primary light broke. All right. So you're diving around with this guy, and then your instructor is going to be like, that broke, right? So you have to put this away. So I take it, hook it up into my D-ring. My dive is broken. Now I need to deploy my secondary light, my backup light. But in order to deploy your backup light, step number one is you have to turn it on. The goal behind the exercise, and again, this is not a cave dive training exercise or whatever, but the goal of it is, if for some reason in the process of deploying it, like for me, for example, I dive with my backup light on my butt plate, which is really a rebreather stand. So it's right there on the ring, right next to where my tanks are connected. So in the process, if on the process of deploying that, meaning unhooking it from the D-ring on my butt plate, I drop it on, right? That is the point. And that's why I love the fact that when I turn it on, it goes full bright. So if I happen to drop this thing 20 feet down in the bottom of the cave, I can see it. Even if it falls down on a layer of silt, right? Because it's a full power at 3,000 for a minute when you turn it on, basically, or when you go into bright, even at 1,700, if it falls to the ground and is partially covered, you can still see it, right? So I noticed that, I thought, if I try to reach back to my light and I try to twist it as is still on my butt plate, I try to twist it to turn it on and then take it off, I'm afraid I'm going to break something. I'm going to break like this connection right here, or it's just simply going to turn, as you can see, the whole time trying to twist it and trying to do it with one hand on my butt plate. It's a problem. And if I unhooked it to then turn it on, I could lose it. Essentially, I wouldn't pass that exercise. So I love the fact that my backup light has a button. I just reach back out there, ding, on. Now I can take it off. If I drop it, well, there it is on. No big deal. So that's why the D710, even though it's not listed as a tech light on the technical section within the OrcaTorch website, it goes in my tech dives. I mean, it's awesome. All these lights, by the way, rated to 150 meters, almost 500 feet. So that's how I do it. Matt is asking, what rebreather are you running? I dive the Kiss Orca Spirit. Kiss rebreathers. And pretty soon I'll be diving the Kiss Sidewinder. So looking into that come July. Would you recommend this for non-cave divers? Absolutely. So every time I get a question about which light should I buy, and I say if you can only afford one, it would be the D710. That's the light that I recommend everyone to get. I think is awesome. Rex, anything. And by the way I use the light is I put it on my top D-ring, and I use it from my D-ring. I never take it off. I don't want to lose it. I know that some people like to put it on like those stretchy things that sometimes they break because they get tangled into stuff. I think that going inside a wreck, especially if you're trained to go inside wrecks, please don't do this if you're not trained to do this, to go inside a wreck. Having stuff that can stretch and whatever, these lines are more dangerous than anything, in my opinion. So I like to have it clipped, and I use it from here. I can turn it on right really quickly and then just hold it, use it, and they never get off my D-ring, and then turn it off when I'm ready and let it go. Even if I'm doing something with my hands, I can let it go it will dangle on the on position, and of course, because I'm on trim, it would just point straight to the bottom, and I can do whatever I need, which sometimes is right in front of my chest anyway, and then I can grab it again and use it, which is great. And it's funny because, you know, this light, the D710, has only, let's say, 1700 lumen, if you even discount the fact that it has a turbo mode. But like, I can go diving with people that have other brands that have, you know, 4200 lumen or whatever. And when we go into caverns or whatever, I can see them telling us like, hey, come here. Let me see here. And I ended up sometimes just giving them my D710. Like, here, just use that. Because the throwing power of these lights are ridiculous. I think the D630 is like over 500 meters, like on dry land. You can light up, like the light beam will just go for half a kilometer. It's ridiculous. And almost 400 meters, I think, on the D710. What do you recommend as a backup for the D710? If the D710 was your main, a D710. I would buy 2 D710s. That's what I would do. Of course, I'm not doing that right now. I have a D520 because, I mean, I love this thing. I've had it since I became a diver. I'm not going to get rid of it. But if I was buying all this stuff again, I would get another D710. What wrecks are you looking at and at what depth? Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the wreck that you're looking at. Again, the deepest wreck I've ever been to is the what's it called, the Chris and Corey or whatever, and the RBM in RBJ rather, RB Johnson in Florida, and they bottom out around 250 feet. Those are the last wrecks I did, the deepest wrecks that I've done. But I am looking at other wrecks like the Britannic, for example. You can look that up. That's over 300. And I'll be taking my OrcaTorch lights to that. Does it come with spare battery? No, I don't think any of these come with a spare battery. You have to get a separate battery for it. Let's see. What other questions do you have that I can answer for you? Yep. So again, D710 is kind of my go-to recommendation for people. If they say, look, I'm going to go into cave diving, or I'm doing these super long dives or whatever, then I would recommend something like a canister light like D630 or D620, depending on the length of your dives. Like Matt, for example, was talking about how he's a rebreather diver, so he's pulling all these long dives. I would typically recommend a canister light. And once again, if you look at canister lights out there, they're all way more expensive and do less than the D630. I think, you know, OrcaTorch hit it out of the park with the D630. All right, let's see. There is one non-OrcaTorch light that I use, by the way. Actually, I have 2 more lights that I want to show you. One is OrcaTorch, the other one is not. The one OrcaTorch I'm going to show you is this guy right here. It was launched pretty recently. I don't even remember the name of this little guy. Maybe Jimmy can help me out at OrcaTorch and put the name of it down there. But it's a beacon, right? You turn it on and you can see it's orange because, come on, it's obvious. But it's an orange beacon. What I like about this guy is I used to have one that I dove with in caves. And the idea is in really silty conditions, you might be able to see a beacon going, right? A little light just blinking over and over and over, strobe light, rather than one that is always on, that is super powerful and blocked by the silt. So I used to dive with a, one of those lights, one of these, strobes on me, but it was way more powerful. It was very expensive. I think I paid like $80 or something for the caves. And it was to the point that in some cases, if the light was like aiming back like this, the light of the top will come out and blind my buddies, like in the cave diving team. Like they'll be diving, and when we get to a stop or whatever, if we're doing a traverse and we get to the other side, they'll be like, Gus, can you turn off your strobe? Like it's just blinding us back there. So that was a pain. I love this guy, right? He blinks just slightly. It's just perfect, and he's orange, and it's just letting people know that, that's you and not blinding anyone. So I actually can use this guy in caves and not blind my buddies. So I like this. I think this thing is less than $20 for sure. And uses AAA lights. So the other lights that you find out there use like this watch batteries that last like 2 days and then they die and they're hard to find. This one uses a AAA light. So you put a AAA light on it. It lasts, I don't know how many hundreds of hours or something, 150 or something. And it's awesome. You can put it on your BCD. You can put it on, rebreathe, whatever it is. It's just a beacon, and they come in a bunch of different colors. So quick little strobe. And then I have this guy, which I have no idea how I own it. I don't remember buying this thing, from a shop or internet or whatever. I think I bought it at like a consignment shop or whatever. It doesn't even have a brand. Look, I'll rotate it. Like there's no brand on it. I have no idea. This was probably an experiment on a lab or something, because it's a ridiculous strobe. Like I've never seen anything more powerful than this. I don't think OrcaTorch sells one. If they do, then you should buy one because they're insane, especially if you're an instructor like me. We do a lot of trips that are over the weekend, and typically we like to take students after they get certified, which is typically on Saturday mornings. We like to take them on their first night dive. So something simple, right? A night dive. And I like to bring this guy. Let me see if I can turn it on without getting a headache. Oh, look at that thing. It's ridiculous. So I like to hang this from the buoy on the boat, and you can see it from like 2 miles away. It's insane. So I don't know how I ended up with this, but I like to, and it's twisty, just like an OrcaTorch. I just like to carry it with me when I go on those trips, and I like to hang it from the boat, so people know exactly, okay, which one is our line. Because sometimes when you go on this night dive, there's multiple boats out there. Not a whole lot of people have this humongous strobe, and it's the brightest thing. It's, if I had to guess without exaggerating, 1,000,000 lumen. I don't think the camera does it justice. It's insane. That's the other light I have. So not every light I have is made by OrcaTorch. That one right there is not. But everything else I use for tech diving is made by OrcaTorch. They make the best lights. They're awesome. I love it. And, I'm saying this honestly. I make no commission on anything you buy. I advise you to buy it from your local dive shop, wherever you live. So I'm not giving you a referral link or anything. I make $0 out of this. I just enjoy recommending things that work. We do that on Dive Talk a lot. We talk about products that we like working with. We've never had any sponsors or anything. So I encourage you guys to check them out, especially if you have a dealer nearby. And I think on the OrcaTorch website, you can find where to buy them. They have dealers all over the world, dive shops that sell them. So my recommendation is that you actually go and buy them from your local dive shop. And that way you can test them, the different models and stuff, and see what they have. All right, let's see what questions. Where do you place your beacon light when diving? So I place it, if I'm diving open circuit, I hook it up on the first stage. So, if you're diving a yoke first stage, when you hook it up, there's space on that, that nut on the back of the first stage. There's like a little space there. So what I do is I take this guy right here, I slide the rope through that space, and then I slide the light through it, and then I just hook it up there, and it just stays back there. And on the rebreather, in the middle of the back plate, there's actually a hole, and I can do the same. I just fit the line through it, just hook it through it, and it's just staying right there in the hole. And then it eventually, as I dive, it fits between the two canisters. It has dual scrubbers, and it's just fitting there. So I have it on the back for people, behind me to see me, because in front of me I have a gazillion lights. So they will see me from the front. That's not a thing. It's from the back. I want them to see that beacon beaming. All right, let's see. Have you ran the OrcaTorch mask light? I have not. I know that they have a little light that you can mount on your strap of your mask, and I actually thought about giving that a shot. A few weeks ago, we went searching for megalodon teeth in North Carolina off the coast of Wrightsville Beach. Which is around Wilmington, North Carolina. So 40 miles off the coast, we went searching for megalodon teeth. And you use your hands a lot, right? So the way I did it is I took my torch, and I would put it on the side, just like a working light. I would just put it on the side and let it just shine on the bottom while I searched for teeth. But I would have loved to have, the ones that you mount on your mask, to be able to see what I was doing. That's why some people like to wear helmets basically with mounted lights so they can see what they're doing. But I haven't tried them. I would love to try them. Let's see. What agency do you certify through CAVE? IANTD is my agency, and I'm also an instructor for IANTD, although is on the recreational side. I'm a advanced Trimix recreational instructor for open circuit and full Trimix certified and full CAVE certified through IANTD. CCR. Let's see. What's the brightest unit without a canister? From OrcaTorch, I'm not sure. I would say probably the D710 at 3000 lumen, but maybe there's another one out there that will be a little bit more than that. Just the canister is great because not only of the brightness, but the longevity. The fact that, it will do it for 5 hours on 4000 lumen. That is the impressive thing. The fact that it can do 4000 lumen, it's impressive. The fact that it can go for 5 hours is impressive. Both of them combined, that's amazing. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there are any other questions. Did I find any? Charlene, great question. We actually recorded a video of this. It's on the Dive Talk YouTube channel. Once again, divetalk.com if you want to check that out. But I found 22. So spoiler alert, 22 megalodon teeth in 2 days. Let's see. Yeah, the biggest one I found is about, I would say, I haven't measured it, but I would say between 5 and 6 inches. It's pretty big. I would say it's probably a few $100s if I were to sell it, which I'm not. I don't want to sell any of the teeth. We will be giving some away to Dive Talk subscribers, but we're not selling them. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay. I don't see any other questions, so we can start wrapping up this live stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the live stream. As I mentioned, and just in case you join after the announcement, OrcaTorch will be giving away a brand new D710 to a lucky winner, which they will pick later on. We're not doing this live. They're gonna select the winner and then contact them. I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy answering questions and kind of sharing my expertise and the things that I do. I've tried so many things, so many different brands, so many different lights, so many different combinations. And I love to essentially tell you what works for me. It's kind of like an advice. I'm not forcing anyone. Like I said, I don't make any commission of this. This is just what I believe. I love to, again, tell you what works, because for me, it was kind of like trial and error. I would have to buy something, didn't like it, put it to the side, whatever. I hope this helps some of you, especially if you were on the fence about which one to get or whatnot. If that makes your decision easier, then so be it. Please subscribe to OrcaTorch, their YouTube channel, and like them on Facebook. If you enjoy these live streams, not just with me, OrcaTorch has way more talented ambassadors and people out there that are experts. Please let them know. More live streams. Let them know. That way, because I'll be tuning in too when some of these amazing superstars join in and tell us how they do photography, how they light up certain things. Like, I would love to learn more about how they light up caves, for example, for photography, because some of these pictures are unbelievable, breathtaking, and I'm curious about it. So if you enjoy it, please go ahead and let OrcaTorch know so they continue to invite us to guest host these live streams for you guys. And if you want to see me again, please let him know. Baron does a great job as well hosting, so I cannot wait to see more of these live streams out there. And if you like the giveaways, tell him too. Let him know that you like some of these giveaways, and hopefully they'll do some more of that. And again, if you want to see some more of my content and some more of my thoughts, please make sure you go to Dive Talk. It's divetalk.com. It's our YouTube channel. Check us out. We have some product reviews, including a full review of the D710 and the D580, I believe, is the other one that we reviewed. And, some other products as well. And, that's basically where you can find me. Let's see. More live streams. How do you become an ambassador for OrcaTorch? Great question, Matt. It was basically they asked me to review some lights for them. I did the review, which is on our channel. I was super excited. I was telling them all about it. I asked them to, send me more lights for me to review and test, especially tech lights. Some of them I can't talk about because they're prototypes, and I'm excited about them coming out in the public because I can't wait to show people the amazing stuff that OrcaTorch is coming up with. But after they saw kind of the excitement and all of that, they asked me if I wanted to become one of their ambassadors, and I say yes because I was already diving with OrcaTorch anyway. So I love to promote the stuff that works. Free OrcaTorch tattoos, Michael is saying. Well, Mike, go for it, man. I would say. Barber is missing Baron. I miss him too. He's hilarious. That is true. I agree. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we'll see you on the next one. And again, thanks OrcaTorch, Jimmy, all the team over there for letting me host this one. If you have any other questions, go ahead and post them on the comments, and I'm going to come back and answer them via text, I guess. So thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.